Welcome. As you can probably tell by the title, this video has nothing to do with a performance of mine or any performance experience I've had. This video is my chance to tell you about the awards that I am most proud of and the story leading up to them, that being my Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award and the Queen Scout Award. I hope you enjoy. Just a quick disclaimer, I'll be reading from my second screen here every now and again for some parts, as I have certain parts of the story written down. I haven't memorised everything I'm going to be saying in this story. So for those of you who don't know, the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme is a youth awards programme founded in the UK in 1956 by Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. It has since expanded out to 144 nations across the world. There are 3 Duke of Edinburgh levels to be achieved: bronze, silver and gold. If someone is to complete the DofE scheme through scouting, like myself, they will also achieve the Platinum, the Diamond Chief Scout Award, as well as the Queen Scout Award, which is the highest possible award to be achieved in scouting. In each level of DofE, a participant must select and set objectives in each of the following areas: volunteering, undertaking a voluntary service to individuals or the community; skills, developing practical and social skills and personal interests; physical, improving in an area of sport, dance or fitness activities; and the expedition, planning, training for and the completion of an adventurous journey in the UK or abroad. There is one extra that is introduced in the Gold Award, but I will briefly describe that once I get to talking about my experiences. In this video, hopefully I'm going to cover each of these DofE awards, but only fully elaborate on my Gold and Queen Scout Award. So to start off with, we have the first level of DofE, the bronze. I first enrolled on the Duke of Edinburgh scheme very shortly after I moved up from Scouts and became an Explorer Scout, which was September 2013, meaning I had just recently turned 14. For my volunteering area, I chose to help at my secondary school's library desk on my breaks. According to my records, I underwent that for 6 months, from January 2014 to July 2014, and I continued to work on the desk even after that, as I'd enjoyed myself and I'd actually learnt quite a lot from it. Since I was 8 years old, up until the age of 15, I was part of a musical theatre company called Theatre for Kids, which really introduced me and made me fall in love with performing, as well as really being able to bring out my confidence. As my skill, I chose to help the young members of the company with a performance. I had this signed from September 2013 till March 2014. Before DofE, I'd begun judo at the local leisure centre, so I decided to use that to complete my physical area. My records claim I had that signed from September 2013 to March 2014. My goal was to reach my 3rd belt, which is the orange belt in judo, and I achieved it. However, shortly after that I quit judo. As for the most challenging parts of all the Duke of Edinburgh levels, being the expeditions, we were required to complete both a practice expedition as well as the official qualifier expedition, which is what we were to be signed off from. I do not recall and cannot find any records of our practice expedition since it was so long ago, but our qualifier took place in the Surrey Hills on the 17th and 18th of March 2014. For bronze, the expedition is 2 days walking with 1 night camping. I recall from one of our expeditions, I believe it was our practice actually, myself and my good friend discussed with the rest of the group that we should be carrying on the path that we were currently on, as that's the way that we thought was the correct way and the way that the map was showing us to go. However, it's worth noting, at the time, me and this friend were sort of the jokers of the group, having many laughs as we went along. So the rest of our group actually thought that we should take a different path, as that's the one that they thought was the correct one. And it's worth noting that we weren't really right a lot of the time. Turns out we actually were the smart ones, as we ended up getting horribly lost and about an hour or two behind schedule just because of how terribly lost we had got just from taking that wrong path. And if the rest of the group had listened to us, then we wouldn't have got so lost. I remember the Bronze Award really introduced me to what sort of challenges I had let myself in for, and as time went on, I had gained more confidence in myself as I realised I could complete this new challenge. As when I was a young boy, I was incredibly timid and quiet. So I've come an incredible way since several years ago, and DofE has had a massive impact on my confidence, hence why I'm so proud of everything I've achieved through DofE, and why it's probably one of the best things I've done in my life. Along with the Bronze DofE Award, I achieved the Platinum Chief Scout Award. The earliest records I have for starting on my Silver Award is the enrolment date, which was apparently the 25th of February 2015. Obviously, you may have noticed the date on my Bronze certificate said March 2015, but we started on the Silver as we knew we had successfully completed the Bronze, and it just took time for the certificate and the badges of the Bronze to come through. This time, for both my volunteering and my skills section, I used my musical theatre company again, Theatre for Kids, like I mentioned before, which at the time I believe I had just left due to age restrictions. As the volunteering, I returned and acted as an assistant to the teaching staff, and as for the skill, I choreographed and taught the juniors of the company a dance routine, which was the song Hands Up by Justin Fletcher, which we performed at the regular term showcase in front of all the kids' parents. The volunteering section had to last for 6 months, so that was signed from February to October 2015, and the skills, on the other hand, only needed 3 months, so that was signed from April to August 2015. As I mentioned previously, I quit judo shortly after completing my Bronze Award, so I had to find something new to do for my physical area. One of my options was to start going to the gym at the same leisure centre as where I did judo. So I went with that as I thought it would benefit me in the future, as well as help me get fitter for the expeditions. Similarly to the volunteering section, the physical section had to last for 6 months, so I had that signed from April to November 2015. In the Silver Duke of Edinburgh Award, the expedition is upgraded to 3 days hiking with 2 nights camping. Our practice expedition took place between the 28th and the 30th of March 2015. I believe the location of the expedition was Hindhead area, but I do not remember for certain. I do remember, however, one of our checkpoints being Waverley Abbey, which is being used as film sets for movies such as Into the Woods. We also walked through an area called Hankley Common, which has been used in several James Bond movies, most notably being the site of Bond's family Scottish mansion in the movie Skyfall. Our final destination on that expedition was the Devil's Punch Bowl, which has a lot of mystery and legend surrounding it. As for the qualifier expedition, I believe we were in the Wiltshire area, which took place between the 30th of October and the 1st of November 2015. I don't exactly remember a huge amount from this expedition, except from coming across the White Horse near Uffington. Just thought I should record this quick little disclaimer. Just when I realised when I was editing the video. If anyone is fully on top of their geography and knows that Uffington and Wiltshire are 2 completely different areas, I do apologise. My old records of the expedition said the location was Wiltshire, Oxfordshire area, so I'm not going to argue with anyone. If you'd like to correct me, I will take your word for it. We began our expedition at Silbury Hill near Avebury, and finished at a church in Letcombe Regis, Wantage. So if that covers the Wiltshire or Oxfordshire area, then there you go. Completing the Silver Duke of Edinburgh really proved to me the upgrade from the Bronze, and actually made me imagine what sort of a challenge the Gold Duke of Edinburgh was going to be like. awarded our Silver Duke of Edinburgh Award and the Diamond Chief Scout Award on the 14th of April 2016. I do recall having my doubts after completing the Silver Duke of Edinburgh as to whether I'd be able to go ahead with the gold, because I didn't think I was physically or mentally strong enough for it. But I did it, and boy, it was worth it. I officially enrolled onto the Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award in January 2016. Yes, this was before we received our Silver Award, but again, we didn't want to delay since we knew we had successfully completed it and achieved the previous awards. As I mentioned earlier on, an extra section is introduced in the Gold DofE level, that being the residential section, which involves the participant staying and working away from home for 5 days doing a shared activity. For this, I went to a place named Sayers Croft in Ewhurst from the 8th to the 12th of August in 2016. For these 5 days, I stayed in a block with several other DofE participants who I worked together with on many fun activities, team building activities, and conservation work on the area. For this next part, it is worth noting that I've been in the Scouting Association since I was a Beaver Scout at the age of 7. As I had just acquired a part-time job at the time, I was unable to continue helping at Theatre for Kids as that had clashed with my work hours. However, I actually had the option of becoming a young leader at my old Beaver Scout unit. This section lasted for 12 months, so I had it signed from September 2016 to September 2017. Even after I completed this section, I chose and offered to return and continue helping at Beavers each week, because I'd really enjoyed working with the Beavers and the leaders for the past 12 months. Since then, in our local Scout district, an executive member approached me with a particular fairly high status role called the District Youth Commissioner of Walton Weybridge, which is the area that I live in. I took the offer, and since October 2017, I've held the title of District Youth Commissioner of Walton and Weybridge, and I've met several wonderful people in our area, such as the local police, the mayor of the area, and several more. This year I was also put in charge of organising the St George's Day Parade of our area, but due to COVID coming around, that had to be cancelled, unfortunately. At the time of signing up to the Gold DofE Award, I'd recently joined the Surrey Youth Music Theatre, where we performed the musical Les Miserables. I used this as my skill and chose to develop my ability to perform through music. Requiring 6 months' work, this was signed from December 2015 to July 2016, which is when we performed the musical. This photo, just to the left of me, is of me performing in this musical, and that is me right there. For my physical, I chose to continue attending the gym as I got into quite a regular routine and believed it was worth continuing just for the fitness side of it, and also working towards the expeditions and being in the correct shape for it. Similarly to the volunteering, the physical had to last for 12 months, and I had to make sure I went to the gym once a week, which I actually managed to stay on top of. And this was signed from May 2016 to May 2017. Our practice expedition took place over the 4th to the 7th of April 2016 in the very wet Yorkshire Dales. When doing my project write-up, I figured out we had covered roughly 70.2 kilometres over the 4 days hiking, since Gold is 4 days hiking and 3 nights camping. From that expedition, I recall coming across several points of interest, such as Gordale Scar and Malham Cove, which was just a short distance from our finishing point on our last day of that expedition. As for our qualifier expedition, the most challenging one of them all, we were hiking in the Cheviot Hills, which is an area between Northumberland and the Scottish borders, so we were very far away from home. This took place only 3 months after our practice, the 24th to the 27th of July 2016. According to my write-up, we covered 93.9 kilometres over those 4 days. Our final checkpoint was the very historic Hadrian's Wall. I'm only going to talk about a couple other notable events from this expedition, otherwise we will be here literally all day. So this first notable event actually happened on our third day of the expedition, and we had just crossed Kielder Dam. We'd just taken a quick break, and then our next leg of the journey was walking up forest woodland track that these big logging trucks would take felled trees down. While we were on that track, we didn't think there'd be many trucks around, so we were sort of spread out across this track. As we were walking, we were hearing this large rumbling sound and thought it's probably an idea to quickly move to the side instead of standing in the middle. So we quickly moved to the side, and all of a sudden a huge logging truck came zooming past us that actually made the ground shake, and it was definitely doing at least 40-50 miles an hour down there. And we thought if we didn't move, we would have been goners. It was almost like running out the way of something in an action film. It was brilliant, but and we did laugh about it afterwards, but it was terrifying. This other story actually happened a few minutes after we had successfully completed the expedition, and I had taken my rucksack off because obviously we were carrying around incredibly heavy rucksacks because we were carrying around our clothes, our tents, our food. And as we had been walking along Hadrian's Wall, I'd actually been getting really emotional. So as soon as I took that bag off, I just dropped down to the floor and cried. Not because I was sad, but because I was happy. And also I was actually in quite a bit of pain because my body was completely exhausted. But I just dropped down to the floor and cried. And my good friend came and comforted me, and we just congratulated each other. And it was brilliant. It was tears of joy, really. And yes, that's a bit of a soppy thing to admit, but I think if you remember what I said towards the beginning of this gold section, where I said originally I didn't think I was strong enough mentally or physically to go ahead with gold, to have come all this way and to have actually completed it when I thought I wouldn't be able to, it's just the best feeling in the world. The gold qualifier expedition was by far the toughest challenge I'd probably ever faced, but like I said before, it was so worth it because of that end result. Having been walking along and admiring Hadrian's Wall, and just the satisfaction of completing it over all these years of working through DofE, it had all come down to this. On the 4th of January 2018, myself and my friend Louis, who I've known since primary school, delivered our Gold Duke of Edinburgh presentation to the Surrey County Scout Commissioner, our families, our fellow Explorer Scouts, ex-Explorer Scouts, and several members from the local district. On the same evening, we were awarded our Gold Duke of Edinburgh badges and the Queen Scout Award badges and certificate. I felt so proud of myself that evening, reviewing how much I had achieved and how far I had come as a person since starting out on DofE back in 2013. Since the Queen Scout Award is the highest achievable award in scouting, all scouts who achieve it have the opportunity to attend an event known as a Day of Celebration and Achievement at Windsor Castle as a congratulation event, and to attend the National Scout Service and the St George's Day Parade of the Queen Scouts through the castle. The day I attended this event was the 22nd of April 2018. I got to meet and shake hands with Chief Scout Bear Grylls, and Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice was also in attendance, greeting and congratulating those scouts that Bear Grylls wasn't. Unfortunately, my friends that I had gone through DofE with weren't able to attend the event due to unforeseen circumstances, so that was quite unfortunate, not being able to spend that really special day with them. As for the Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award, I had the chance of attending the Gold Award presentation being held on the morning of the 24th of May 2018 in the garden of Buckingham Palace. This is where I was awarded my Gold Award certificate. As opposed to Windsor, and to my surprise, my friends were also there in attendance, so it was a great experience to have all together. Since we weren't able to have that experience together at Windsor, it was brilliant to have it, just the three of us there at Buckingham Palace. I hope you've enjoyed the video and enjoyed hearing about my experiences. I thought this video was something I wanted to create because I wanted to share my adventures and the outstanding awards that I've achieved. These awards right here are by far the awards I'm most proud of because of how much time, effort and emotion went into them. If they're watching, I'd like to thank my very, very good friends Louis and Dominic, who are the two guys who were constantly by my side when we were doing DofE. Without you two, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without you, so a whole lot of love to you both. To the rest of you, again, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. I think if I'm to offer any advice for people who are doing DofE or are wanting or considering doing DofE, it is 100% worth doing it. As difficult as it may be to get all the way up to gold, it is so worth it, trust me. Like, yes, there will be a lot of time, there'll be a lot of effort, there'll be a lot of emotion going into it, but the end result, like, I mean, having the opportunity to go to Windsor and to go to Buckingham Palace and meet some amazing people, it's 100% worth it, and anything is possible if you put your mind to it. So once again, I thank you so much for watching, and take care.